let's shift to this. Man, crazy news going down in the NBA, folks. So James Harden is officially now joining Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. The Houston Rockets traded away James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. There was a big-time blockbuster NBA trade. The Nets acquired James Harden and a 2024 second-round pick from the Cavs. The Houston Rockets in this trade acquired Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Caruso, and 4 first-round picks from the Brooklyn Nets. The Indiana Pacers also received Caris LeVert and a 2023 second-round pick from the Rockets. And the Cleveland Cavaliers received Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince from the Brooklyn Nets. There's a lot of things to break down here, but I'm really just going to focus in on James Harden and the Brooklyn Nets. I do like what the Pacers got back. I do like what the Cavs got back. And ultimately, I'm happy that Victor Oladipo can go to a big-time market like the Houston Rockets and really showcase his skills because he was super-duper underrated in Indiana for many, many years, okay? He's a really good player, so I'm happy for him. But this is all about James Harden, people. And James Harden going to the Brooklyn Nets nearly guarantees them a championship. Let me repeat myself. With Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets acquiring James Harden, this virtually guarantees the Brooklyn Nets are going to win a title. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and some solid role players. That feels like an NBA championship to me and potentially maybe a dynasty if Kyrie Irving and James Harden are willing to make things work with Kevin Durant. Folks, don't overthink this. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, there's only one ball. This isn't going to work, folks. You're talking about Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and this Brooklyn Nets squad as currently constructed? You mean to tell me this can't work? You mean to tell me they can't at least get to the finals? Folks, are you out of your gourd? Okay, don't overthink it. And listen, for those of you that are saying, this is not going to work, there's not enough ball movement, there's only one ball, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, they're going to flop in Brooklyn. Okay, if you feel that way, guess what? I want you to keep that same energy because, see, what folks tend to do is they tend to say, oh, this isn't going to work. And then when it does work, they say, oh, LeBron James stacked the deck. Oh, Kevin Durant, he stacked the deck. No, keep that same energy, folks. Don't switch up, okay? And also, for those people out there that are super duper mad about this trade, you know you should blame? You should blame the Boston Celtics. You should blame the Miami Heat. You should blame the Philadelphia 76ers for not going all in and really out their way to acquire James Harden, who's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. The Boston Celtics, they were way too cheap. The Miami Heat, it seems like they're convinced that Tyler Hero is their answer over James Harden. And I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but the bottom line is they didn't get the deal done, and it's a results-oriented business, okay? And I know what all you folks are saying today. You're going to say, Jamon, what about the defense? Okay, you can talk about the defense, but I can talk about who's going to stop this team on offense, okay? We can talk about, the lack of depth. Folks, star players win championships, not role players. You know how many people told me that, the Los Angeles Lakers, they don't have enough pieces around LeBron James and Anthony Davis to win a title. They don't have enough bench players. And I was actually one of the people that sort of bought into that and said, do the Lakers have enough? The answer was yes. Folks, role players like Caris LeVert, Taurean Prince, Jarrett Allen, they're nice players, but if you can get a guy like James Harden, you do it, okay? You can say, what about Steve Nash? Yeah, what about Steve Nash? Steve Nash, to me, so far, has done a very good job of managing this Brooklyn Nets team. I believe in Steve Nash. And we can say Steve Nash is a first-year head coach, but let's not forget Steve Kerr back in Golden State won the NBA championship in his first year with the team. Steve Nash very well could do the same thing because if you look at his trio of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, that's a very talented duo, okay? And usually greatness figures itself out, folks. It is just too hard for me to envision a team beating this Brooklyn Nets squad 4 times in a best-of-7 series, because that's what it's going to take in order to beat this team, okay? Folks, this is not the NFL. You have to beat a team 4 times in a best-of-7 series. And I'm just going to say right now, good luck beating this Brooklyn Nets team as currently constructed 4 times in a best-of-7 series, okay? You got Kevin Durant, who is a former NBA MVP, a former 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP. He's one of the 3 greatest scorers of all time. He's arguably the most talented offensive player in the game of basketball today. He's a willing passer. He's an NBA champion. And I expect Kevin Durant to play very well within the system with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. He did not seem to have any issues playing with Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving's been on the court so far up to this point. Kevin Durant so far in the year has been averaging nearly 30 points per game. He's been excellent off that Achilles injury. And I think with James Harden and Kyrie Irving being sort of perimeter-oriented guards, you're going to see Kevin Durant in that low post kind of, playing the Dirk Nowitzki role where he'll be playing with his back to the basket a lot, and ultimately, the floor is going to be spaced out for Kevin Durant to boogie on people and get to the basket and knock down those jumpers if he wants to as well. This offense is going to be lethal. And you got James Harden, who's one of the best players of all time to never win a title, and now James Harden got what he wanted. He did not want to be in Houston anymore because ultimately, he saw the writing on the wall. And listen, people could say James Harden is not willing to sacrifice enough to win a title. I disagree. I think that James Harden is definitely willing to sacrifice to win an NBA championship. And when you look at what James Harden and Russell Westbrook did with only playing 1 year together in Houston, folks, that duo worked. Okay, they won a lot of games. They won a playoff series. Ultimately, they ran into LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Boo-hoo. Okay, listen, if James Harden and Russell Westbrook can't beat Anthony Davis and LeBron James, that should not be held against them because Anthony Davis is arguably one of the 5 best players in all of basketball, and LeBron James is someone that people have told me is the GOAT, okay? To me, he's one of the top 5 greatest players of all time. Not quite the greatest player of all time, but LeBron is really, really good, okay? He gets to the NBA Finals virtually almost every year in his prime. You look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is one of the best one-on-one players in the entire NBA. He's an excellent shooter. He's an excellent finisher around the rim. And now he's your 3rd option? Folks, good luck. Okay, you talk about lack of depth. I see a guy like Joe Harris on this team in the starting lineup who's really, really good. He's a knockdown shooter. You still got DeAndre Jordan to catch lobs and protect the rim. Bruce Brown's played pretty well this year. Tyler Johnson's a really good player. Landry Shamet can give you some good minutes. Jeff Green's really good as well. This Brooklyn Nets team is deep enough to win a championship. And look, could this team use another big man or two? Yes. Sean Marks actually came out recently in a press conference and addressed that the team is arguably not done making moves. So you could see them acquire, some bigger bodies to, get down low, banging that paint, protect the rim, play good defense. The Brooklyn Nets, to me, are not done making moves. They'll make enough subtle moves to get this team ready by playoff time. You're going to get anywhere from 70 to 90 points between Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving on most nights, and everyone else is just gonna pitch in and contribute. The Brooklyn Nets, they have a ton of firepower, and as good as the Los Angeles Lakers are, I'm not sure if the Los Angeles Lakers can knock off this Brooklyn Nets squad as currently constructed because you got Kevin Durant, he at least can match, LeBron James. I believe that James Harden can at least match Anthony Davis, if not play better than Anthony Davis. And you got Kyrie Irving, who is by far and away, way better than the Los Angeles Lakers' 3rd best player, okay? So, look, people, don't overthink this. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, they're all capable of playing off the ball. They'll be able to share the ball. And listen, Kyrie Irving, he's shown the ability to defend at a high level. We saw that in the NBA Finals versus Stephen Curry a couple of years ago. We saw James Harden not too long ago lead the NBA in steals. And not to mention, James Harden is also a willing passer. He's led the league in assists in the past. And Kevin Durant, we know what he's all about. He doesn't need a whole bunch of shots to get into a rhythm. He's a willing passer. The other night, he just had 13 assists. Okay, this is going to work, okay? So, I don't want to hear about, oh, this isn't going to work for Brooklyn. Listen, I'll be darned if I bet against Kevin Durant, who might arguably be the best player in all basketball. It's either him or LeBron James. You can pick or choose who you believe is the best player in basketball. I'll be darned if I pick against Kevin Durant when he's got James Harden and Kyrie Irving and a very good progressive young head coach and Steve Nash by his side. The Brooklyn Nets have a chance to become a dynasty led by Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving if this all works out and gets put together the proper way. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.